All right, everyone. Welcome back to the State of the Lakers. It's Mateo, and I got my buddy Martin here. How's it going, man?
I'm doing well, man. How are you doing?
Doing great. We're back from the All-Star break. Lakers finally got that extended period of rest we've been dying for them to get, dude. And what do you think of the All-Star game, by the way? Did you watch?
So I did watch in pieces, man. I'll be honest. I was like tuned in for I thought the 3-point contest was really cool. Watching Steph just go on his one of his runs, that was just insane. Um, then I watched the first quarter of the All-Star game. Then I tuned away, man, because like it was just, I mean,
Ron's
you
team whooped
know,
them. They
yeah, I
got a
know.
win.
It was just
Yeah.
like insane what was going on. But then I tuned in for the second half, and I was glad to see, first of all, that LeBron basically checked himself out. That was nice to see. And
You
yeah,
love to
Braun
see
is a,
that.
I love to see that. And Braun is a hell of a GM, man. He drafted a hell of a squad. And there wasn't really any point in the second half where I thought LeBron's team was going to lose. There wasn't one point I thought they were going to lose the game. They beat
Yeah,
him. They beat him pretty well, dude.
I know. This year's All-Star can kind of make me appreciate last year's, dude, because dude,
Yes,
the
yes,
fourth quarter that we got and how heated everyone was. We had
right.
a crowd, of course, but last year was really special, man. And the fact that we whooped them so bad this year kind of really made me appreciate that. But I also thought the 3-point contest was gonna. I had a feeling it was gonna be good. And when Steph came up, he was the last one in the first round. I'm like, all right, is he going to go God mode like the 3-point goat that he is? And he fucking did. And it's always really dope to see someone come up and just flex their skill like that.
Yeah, it was. That was for sure the out of that and the skills and the dunk contest. Just seeing Steph when he gets, like you said, when he goes into like the God mode, and he just every time he just proves that he is the best shooter ever, man. So that was when I think his final round was like 30, and he had to make his last money ball shot to win, and of course he did. He's amazing.
I know, man. Yeah. And regarding the skills competition, we'll wrap up the All-Star game stuff now, but they got to get rid of that, man, because no one cares. The people
No one
doing it.
cares.
Did you see
No.
Luca? He was like not even trying in it. Freaking Sabonis one.
I
I
think
think
I think they have to make some tweaks, man. Like maybe like I don't know, like a king of the court has been brought up. You know, a king of the court would be something I'd be interested in. But yeah, the skills challenge definitely my least favorite.
I know. I think what they got to do, and I don't know if they could get the players to agree on this, it'd be just like a one-on-one or a two-on-two tournament. Maybe have like a little and a big. Um, I think that'd be fun. I think people would definitely tune into that versus a skills challenge. But
I think
anyways,
a 2-on-2, yeah, a 2-on-2 man with like maybe 10 seconds to get off a shot. I'm with you on that.
I could see that. Yeah. Well, then the big hurdle then is getting the players to agree to it, and you can't get star players to want to do the dunk contest. So
I know
I
they don't want
I
to do
just
that.
think people just don't want to look bad. And so having them look
True.
bad potentially in a one-on-one, I feel like that'd be hard to get them to do. Anyways, today we wanted to talk about what we've seen in this first half of the Lakers pre-All-Star break, and then we also wanted to look ahead to how we think this rest of the season is going to play out, man. So, Martin, I wanted to ask, what were your preseason expectations of the team, and how has the season played out according to what your expectations were?
To be honest, man, it's kind of been what I expected. I thought the first half we would have we would beat a top four team in the West. I also thought we were just going to have rough spots and patches. Obviously, for us, it was that 4-game losing streak, and we're just going to keep saying it, man. It's like they had a 2-month break. So I was expecting that. But at the same time, like I said, I was expecting them to be top four because they're just so damn talented. Um, they they upgraded. They are better on paper than last year. Schroeder, Montrez, Gasol, they're better. So I'm pleased with where they're at. Having said that, I know that Rob Palinka's got something up his sleeve. I know he's going to make probably one more move because I think we should make one more move or maybe even a couple more moves to get better. But I'm okay. We have what is it, the third best record in the league right now? So
in the
and
West, I think.
third best in the West. I think we're maybe a game behind like Philadelphia um, for the bet for because they're number one in the East. But we're in a good spot, man. Like we're still missing a pretty damn good player, and his name is Anthony Davis. Um, and I think they're going to make, like I said, I think Rob is going to make a couple of more moves. So, I will say I looked at our schedule, man. It's going to be tough, man. We got a long ass East Coast road trip. We got some back to backs mixed in there. But as far as the first half, this is what I expected. What did you think of like your expectations for the first half and what we're looking at right now?
I was thinking of the 2010 regular season after we won that first ring that we bust our asses for with Kobe and Powell. How we needed Kobe a lot to bail us out with some game winners. I think in that season he had like 7 game winners. He was going nuts, but it was always because we would dig ourselves in a hole. We would pace ourselves knowing that it's a long season and that this play doesn't totally matter right now. It's all about figuring out what this group is good at. And the coaches have alluded to this too. Phil Handy, Frank Vogel, they say the regular season is just gearing up for the playoffs, essentially. And,
Yep.
and they aren't wrong when they say that. So I expected some coasting going in. I'd say LeBron is going a little harder than I expected. He's trying a lot harder on defense. Maybe in the first half he doesn't try as hard, but if it's a close game, he locks people down. And that's been really great to see. But it's also like, all right, LeBron, we love the effort, but pace yourself a little bit more, dude. Also pace yourself.
Yeah, just that's a good point. Just to quickly like piggyback on that. I think of anything that I'm like happiest to see about LeBron's first half is defensively, man. He has been so damn good, and I hope that he gets the recognition at the end of the year awards for first team defense because like we see what he can do as a playmaker and as a shot maker and offensively. But defensively, his effort this year has been really great. So it's been really nice to see.
Yeah, he's definitely giving it more throughout the minutes of the game than he did last year. You can tell when he's, locked in on defense, when he really gets to the chest of a guy and then he starts heavily contesting stuff and the rotations are tight. His rotations have been really freaking good, man. He's been really good on the perimeter. He's taking charges. He's blocking shots. When LeBron decides to use his body for defense, good results happen. And I think they're going to give him a nod on an all defense team. Hopefully on the first team. I think the media, people have been pushing for wanting to give LeBron an MVP for a while since he hasn't got one in a while. But I think people will be hungry to give him that defensive nod. So I could see a first team all defense happening. But carrying on more about the defense. I'm surprised we still have the number 1 defensive rating with Anthony Davis gone. And with him, when he was in, he wasn't himself. How much more frustrating has this defense been compared to last year's? Yet we're still number 1, man.
Yeah, I mean, it is, I gotta say, it's pretty surprising with AD being out this much and we're still number 1. I would say number 1, credit to LeBron, like we just said, for how well he's played on defense. Our team defense this year has been really happy about that. Dennis, I think it starts a lot with Schroeder's on-ball defense. KCP's a good defender. Caruso's a good defender, and for like sometimes I nitpick. I feel like with Coach Vogel, but he proved. I feel like in the bubble last year and our way to the championship, he is a great defensive coach. So I want to give some credit to him too. Also, Marc Gasol, man, like people shit on Mark, and I know
That's
he's
me.
30.
Although I will acknowledge when he does good, when he gets a block, I'm like, good shit, Mark. When he gets a good pass from the high post, I'm like, there you go. But a lot of bad shit still happens too, people. Let's not ignore that.
And all the way. I'm just saying, dude, like for the 36-year-old, like, and look at like his numbers and his impact for our defense. Like he's been really freaking good, man.
Just fundamentally sound, dude.
Yeah, he's fundamentally sound. He doesn't get like really cooked too much in pick and roll. He will get beat and commit some fouls when the guards beat him off the dribble. But like I've been looking at our numbers like defensively with Gasol, and I've been really surprised, man. And just wait till Anthony Davis gets that foot right, and we play him at the 5, which we're gonna do in the playoffs because that's what you have to do with Anthony Davis. Just wait until then, man. We could even be better. As good as they are, they could be better, man.
I know. I feel like a theme of this year has been the numbers surprising me. Sometimes when after a game, we're like, oh God, we got bullied on the boards. Jesus Christ, like couldn't get a fucking rebound. And I look at the numbers, it's like, oh, we were +3 in rebounds. What the hell? And
Yeah,
and a lot of numbers that involve Gasol too. I'm like, wait, he's averaging more block, or like our team's averaging more blocks than last year with JaVale and Dwight.
that's what I'm
Well,
saying.
that's
Right.
also probably because JaVale and Dwight also altered a lot of shots. And they don't exactly track that as a stat. But it is encouraging to see that some of the numbers are still good in these circumstances. So that's been a great thing to see, man. The defense is still holding up, and just wait till Anthony Davis gets back, people, because
Right.
when he is back and right, and we have Schroeder, and we have our guys, and they're all locked in, this is when we're going to be activated, dude. Overall, what would you say have been the main bright spots and the main downsides of what we've seen so far?
It's hard to tell, man. I feel like I know that's like the lame answer, but I really don't know for sure yet. I would say a bright spot has been Dennis Schroeder. I'd give some love to Schroeder.
Big time.
I thought it was a good trade. Um, Danny Green in the 28th pick, like for Schroeder, that's a home run.
I
Rob
forgot that was
Pelinka.
the deal. That's an excellent fucking deal.
That's a great
Schroeder's
deal.
27. We're negotiating contract with him, or I don't know if he's 27, but he's in that range.
I think him and Montrez are both 27 turning 28. So yeah, to me, that's a great move that he's been a bright spot. Montrez has been a bright spot too. I think he's had some good games. He's had some like tough times, a couple of games too, but I think he's been pretty consistent. I'd say Dennis, and LeBron. I mean, LeBron missing one game. Uh, I think LeBron is for sure. He wants Kareem's scoring record, and he wants to be the oldest player in the league to ever win MVP. Having said that, that doesn't mean they're just going to give it to you. You got to ball out, and LeBron has been balling out. As far as like the flip side of that, some things I haven't been too happy with. Shit, man. Wesley Matthews.
Oh God, that's a good one.
This guy been stinking it up the last at least 8 games, maybe 10 games. I hope this break did something for him because that guy cannot make a shot.
I think he's
and
only
he's
had
been
1 or
getting
2 good games
cooked on
that year.
defense. I still got my issues with Vogel offensively, and I think that they could really use an elite offensive assistant. I'd love to hear what you think about that. And I know I'm nitpicking because like we got the 3rd best record in the league, right? So or whatever it is. So those are some things. Hopefully Wesley Matthews turns it around. KCP, I'm gonna need you to put on the ankle bracelet or something, bro. The monitor, you're gonna have to turn up because KCP was big trash in the last 5 games.
Ultra instinct KCP when he puts on the ankle monitor. I love it. He just snaps on the ankle brace and he goes Super Saiyan. He makes like 53s in a row. I love
it. And because the thing is, like, I really do think like KCP is a valuable player and a really good role player. But going into that All-Star break, I mean, he was just shitty. But maybe the break has done something for him, Wesley. And like I said, I think Vogel could do better implementing a little bit of schematics for like Montrez and just as a team. But what do you think? What would you say like the highs were and like the lows were from that first half?
The highs, I'd say Dennis Schroeder was definitely a big one too, man. He is a freaking bulldog. His perimeter defense and his ability to create shots. We saw in that 4-game losing streak how essential he was, how when it's just LeBron and we are not fortunate enough to have AD, we need at least 2 out of the 3 guys between LeBron, AD, and Dennis, I think, to really compete with teams. Otherwise, you can lose to the damn Wizards because that's what happened. We can lose by 2 to the Wizards. Schroeder has been amazing, and he's young, and so he can be a part of our future. I love his defense, man. I love his tenacity.
Yeah.
The development of Kuzma too been a huge thing. His ability to get these big hustle rebounds and his continued growth as a wing defender, and
Yo,
he's been
shame
able
on
to
me.
step it up with
Yeah.
scoring too. Like against the Kings when we didn't have anyone, we didn't have LeBron or AD. He had 25, so he can still get you that if you need it.
Yeah, I didn't mean to cut you off, but no, shame on me. I mentioned the highs in the first half, and I forgot to mention Kyle Kuzma. I'm really glad that you brought that up. Gave the guy a $40 million deal and just completely bought in that first half. Some games he probably finished the game with like 9 points, but he had like 12 rebounds and 8 of them were offensive. And he's just super active on defense. It's really nice to see a guy get paid and like he's just all in on his role. So I just want to say quickly, yeah, shout out to Kuz for that first half. I'm glad you brought that up.
Yeah, and I'm glad you brought up Wesley too, because I was thinking of my bright spots and I'm like, oh yeah, downsides. Wesley has definitely been one of them as well. But in regards to the Kuz deal, I feel like that's a fair deal for him. What was he making, like 10 million, a little more each year? That's pretty good for what he brings. And he could certainly play his way to be worth more than that. And so there's an avenue for that. I still like Kuz.
Right.
I tend to not give up on players so quickly because shit happens, and especially so in this COVID year, man. Shorter schedules, the games are more tightly compacted. It's like, I've just been doing this podcast thing as a part of my daily life, but sitting down watching the Laker games, it takes time, and you want to provide, like decent analysis of it. I feel tired just watching all these games. I'm not even freaking playing them, but there's like one every other day now. And there's
I know.
a lot of back-to-backs too.
Yeah.
So I've definitely felt the condensity, if that's a word, of the schedule too. And I'd say Montrezl Harrell is probably what we expected him. He's been a really good energy guy off the bench. He's had some really good games, but I think Trez is definitely one of the main things that I'm not sure Vogel is managing right. So I wanted to ask you too, what would you grade if you want to provide a grade or provide your thoughts on Vogel and the coaching staff so far based off this first half?
Yeah, I mean, that's a good point. I think for what I said about Montrez, I think he could be put in a little better positioning as far as like a grade for Vogel in the first half. I'd probably have to give him a B plus. Wouldn't give him an A because there's just a couple things here and there. And again, maybe Vogel is just holding on to his Joker card because Vogel kind of did it in the bubble. He started Alex Caruso in that last game of the finals. Like that was a Joker card. He started Dwight Howard when we had to beat Denver because Dwight was just going to just basically assault Nikola Jokic. So I do think Vogel might have something on his sleeve.
Same.
I think honestly, and I don't want to look too far down the road or get too much into it. We can maybe talk about it on a different time or what, but I think we really could use an upgrade for an assistant. How do you feel about the guys next to him? Like, are you crazy about Lionel Hollins and JC Kidd? I'm not really. I think there's got to be some really good, talented offensive minds that can be on the bench next to Vogel because I know what Vogel can do defensively. I don't know. Look, JC Kidd is one of the baddest point guards I've ever seen. Phoenix, New Jersey, champion. That doesn't necessarily mean it translates to schemes and coaching. I think we could use an upgrade, and like I said, I might be getting too far ahead of myself. I'm just trying to focus on like this year and going back to back. But so I nitpick Vogel, but that's just because like I see how much talent is here. And again, he might have something like a Joker card that is just gonna like put yoke on my face and be like, "Look, motherfucker, do you see what I was waiting for? I told you I was gonna do this in Game 6 of the conference finals or whatever." So yeah, that's my take on Vogel's like first half and my assessment of the coaching staff.
I would also give him a B, and I kind of keep the Joker card thing in mind too because he pulled that shit out on us in Game 6, man. But
He
there are
did.
times like in that Phoenix game where it's like, all right, we're going to let Dario Sarge get 20 on us. Why don't you put in Damian Jones on this guy? We need more size. He's just getting whatever he wants right now. So I would totally agree that we could use an offensive assistant coach upgrade. I don't really hear about assistant coaches joining staffs in the middle of seasons, though. So that wasn't really something on my mind. But if they could make it work, absolutely. Because that's been another one of my downsides this year. The offense dying. The defense has been holding up, but a lot of times the offense just dies. Guys get
Yeah,
guys start leaning on LeBron a little too much, which has just been a big theme of LeBron's career the whole time. Because he is the system, like everything revolves around him. But
right.
I know they're limited players. I know Alex Cruz isn't the best ball handler. I know Keith isn't the most athletic. I know Mark isn't gonna block every shot like Dwight and JaVale against a bad team. But it seems like a lot of times when, hey, say we have like a 10-point lead or something, and then the other team comes rallying back, the guys will, the other team starts to lock in on defense a bit. The guys on our team, they'll kind of get on the perimeter, they'll poke and prod, they'll like try one move, and then they'll pass to the other guy. The other guy will try one move, and then it'll just always end up back in LeBron's hands. And hey, maybe
Right.
that's just a problem specific to us not having Dennis, because when Dennis is there, a lot of that goes away. But yeah, the offense dying has definitely been a concern for me. With AD coming back, that'll definitely alleviate some things too there.
Right. We're kind of nitpicking. It's like we mentioned all of that, and I'm glad you brought that up. Like, we don't have Anthony Davis. Like, he's going to help out a lot. Makes the offense just so much like untapped potential. So, I mean, that's a good point.
Yeah. Another thing I wanted to ask you about this season. One of our defining traits last year was chemistry. What do you think about this year's chemistry compared to last year's? Because I know we have, like almost half of our team is new. What would you have any thoughts on how the team is, looking together on the floor?
Yeah, I mean, last year was just shout out to last year's team because it was like amazing. And every account by every guy in that locker room, they all seemed to say the same thing after they won the championship. They said, "Man, there was nothing like this locker room. There was nothing like it." Um, I can't. I mean, I do see like this team seems to enjoy playing with each other, and there doesn't seem to be too much. Like, I mean, I can't pick into like a tweet or and like really diagnose something to say that yeah they're on walking on eggshells. So
Yeah,
I
none
mean
of
I
that.
think I don't really um I can't really get into that. I think the chemistry is good. We'll see what happens in the second half. But no doubt, the team last year that was a special run because of what everything that went down. But it's not like this year's chemistry is bad. I think it's good. Hopefully they can just stay tight and together for this this last surge. After this break.
Yeah, I'm kind of in the same boat. I thought last year's chemistry was pretty special, just based off of what I mean. Of course, we're outsiders; we're not in the locker room or going to dinner with them or anything. But based on what everyone was saying, I'm like, oh, this is the best team I've ever been on. They're going on podcasts and we see article quotes about it. Yeah, I think we still have solid chemistry, but it might not be at last year's amazing peak. But I think that's also because of no fans. Because if there are fans in the building and we go on these amazing runs, that builds chemistry because it's
For
shared great
sure.
memories. Also, if you
For
go on the
sure.
road and it's a heated game and you make them shut the fuck up with some really great defensive plays, that builds
Yeah.
chemistry too. So, hey, that's also just a symptom of us not having fans in the building, which makes me really want to get them back in the building, man, because I think that'll elevate our team. We always hear guys like LeBron and other dudes talking about how they miss the fans. It's probably played a role in it not being as crazy, but also I think I was just looking back on it, I think Dwight and JaVale were really big for our bench energy and our chemistry. Not even when they weren't even playing in certain these playoff matchups, they're just jovial dudes. And we see videos of JaVale, shooting the shit with his Cavs teammates, and he seems like a pretty good locker room presence for them. So, I mean, we can still have great chemistry even if we don't have Dwight and JaVale. But just a shout out to those guys. I think they really played a role in having just a great team attitude and contributing to the overall chemistry of the team. I think our guys definitely do like each other, but having fans back is definitely going to build it into this year's iteration.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that kind of wraps it on the first half of the season. Is there anything? Then we'll get into what we see for the second half. Any parting thoughts on the first season?
No, that was I mean, we're kind of on the same page for the first half. We could jump right into the second half because it's like I said like earlier on the man, we got some a pretty tough schedule, man. We got some back-to-backs. We have a long East Coast road trip. What do you think about what should we expect?
I think I wouldn't really look at the schedule that much, admittedly, because I just like keeping an eye on it in the immediate because who knows who's going to be healthy, with especially with these fucking COVID protocols because anyone can
Right.
dip out and I don't want to
That's true.
formulate opinions and be like, oh, we got this because who knows who they're going to have, who knows who we're going to have. So I'm just kind of taking it week to week essentially. But this regular season is going to end in mid-May. That's kind of weird, ain't it? Usually that's when we're gearing up for the conference finals or conference finals ending the second round. Yeah, so it's going to be ending in mid-May. Who do you think our biggest threat in the West is?
I mean, I would break it up into like, I guess tiers of teams. I think there's like really 6 teams that can win a championship. 3 in the East and 3 in the West. In the East, Brooklyn, Philly, Milwaukee, and in the West, I would say the Lakers, the Clippers, and the Jazz. So for us, I still think the Clippers are our toughest matchup. I think we match up better with Utah. So I think, hopefully, honestly, I would like to see the Lakers Clippers in, whether it be, I don't know, the conference finals or the second round because we didn't see it last year. I mean, that was their fault, not ours.
Yep.
And so I think the Clippers will be a fun series. That's a tough matchup. I mean, Utah's a tough matchup too. And then, yeah, those are, I think, the 3 best teams. You still have to take into account, Dallas should make a run. Portland will be there. Um, who else am I Denver, but
Yeah.
I think we match up well with those guys. I think the toughest competition is, like I said, it's the top 3 teams in the West and the top 3 teams in the East. Those are the best teams in the league, and I don't think there's going to be like an outside team.
I'm with you on that. I don't know if I would put Milwaukee in that group anymore. They've just had some bad losses lately, and I think they've been hurt a little bit. But I've been wondering, like, why are the Bucks losing by like 20 to this team that's not that good? It seems to be happening more often than I thought, and I just can't really warm up to the idea of them being a championship winner until Giannis gets a more reliable jumper. Because that's just what's happened the last 2 years in a row. Teams put up a wall, and then the other Bucks can't get it done. It's hard for me to keep the Bucks in that group, but I think in terms of the West, I think it's the Jazz, the Clippers, and us too. The Jazz, I agree, we do match up pretty well with them, but this year they also have Mike Conley who's playing well. Last year he wasn't playing well because he was
Right,
hurt. He was getting used to a new system, and
right.
I remember watching our old games thinking like, what the hell is Mike Conley doing? He's missing these shots bad. And I've just been reading a lot of stuff from the other side too, like why are the Jazz so good? And people are saying, Bojan Bogdanovic is back, just general continuity. But Mike Conley's playing like Mike Conley again, so that's going to be another variable that wasn't there if we match up in a playoff series with him. I still think we take it though. I still have faith in our team.
Yeah, I
Um,
think just like it was so bizarre because like when Conley went to Utah, you're like, oh damn, that is a good move. And he, for whatever reason, maybe it was the injuries, but he was so bad that first year. So it is a good point. It's a complete 180 for him because this year he really was playing like close to an all-star. I think he was the alternate this year, but he's been balling. So that is the difference. And as far as Milwaukee, like I still think they're behind Brooklyn and Philly. So like they're in my like circle of 6 teams, like 6 contenders. But just so we're clear, I'm with you that they are definitely like step behind Brooklyn and Philly. But I would put them in still a contender because the contender name because I mean, if if Giannis can have a great playoff run, then I'll count him in. But he hasn't done it. He got outplayed by Kawhi when Kawhi was with the Raptors, and then last year got outplayed by Jimmy Butler and Bam in the bubble. And yeah, I think Utah's you got to take them serious. I think we do match up pretty well with them if we're healthy, and I think we're going to get the Lakers Clippers this year. Last year we didn't get it. This year we're going to get it.
I think so too. I think that Clippers matchup is still the one we should have our eye on in terms of the end of the West. As currently constructed, do you think we have enough to repeat?
Yes, I think we should make another move, like we talked about that earlier. I think Rob has got something up his sleeve, but as currently constructed, yes, I do. If we are fully healthy and if they didn't make one more move, I would still feel confident that nobody can beat us 4 out of 7. Again, a lot of sports is luck, which means health. We have to be healthy, but if we are, then I still think the Lakers are as constructed will repeat.
I'm with you there too, because we still didn't see the best of AD with this current unit of guys. We still have a better offensive ceiling than last year, and we're still holding it down defensively, as we've mentioned a few times. But we still never got that Defensive Player of the Year worthy Anthony Davis in this season yet. So
right,
the whole season hinges upon him getting healthy, man. It really does. That's one of the things I would be concerned about heading into the second part of the season. One would be, we just got to make sure AD is right, and LeBron, of course. We can't take that for granted. We've got to make sure the whole team is really right heading into the playoffs. But the shooting has been something of concern too, because hey, we could have a good week where we started off the season having like a good week or two with shooting, and then it's like, oh God, Lakers are coming, we're winning this shit, end the season now. But we cooled off, of course. If we go cold at the wrong time, though, then that could put us in a pretty dire situation, I'd say. So the two biggest concerns for me heading into the next part of the season was we got to make sure our shooters stay hitting their shots regularly. And I mean, what else can you say? You just got to hit your shots. And we just got to make sure AD is healthy. But is there anything else that you would be concerned about heading into this second part of the season and or the playoffs?
I mean, number one would be like we just went over health. Obviously, we have to be healthy. I guess maybe I'd be concerned if the shooters got cold, but more even deeper than that, if like Vogel doesn't have the Joker card this year,
Yes.
and he doesn't pull out that move, then okay, I might start to be nervous. As of right now, if we are fully healthy and AD comes back like the guy we know he is, I'm confident. I'm confident we can. That they don't even need to make one more move, or because when like his bubble run, that's funny to say his bubble run. But AD seriously in that bubble, man, he was like on a different planet from his mid range and his 3-point shot, and like we just haven't seen that this year. I think honestly, and he might not ever admit it, but he was out of shape, man. He was out of shape when the season started. He looked slow. He looked a little bit lazy at times, and like that I think that's not he just won a championship and he had 2 months to get right. Like I think when he gets back, hopefully at the end of this month, the like 1st of April, you're going to see a guy who's in shape and you're going to see AD again. So yeah, I guess my concerns would be maybe the shooters' health and Vogel not having that like final card to pull out.
Yeah, AD went to the Laker big man school of playing yourself into shape during the regular season. He got
just like Shaq, bro.
Yeah, he took a call from Shaq. He's like, "Listen, big fella, listen, you're not going to work out during the regular season. I mean, during the off season." And that's exactly what happened, dude.
Bro, tell me he was not out of shape when the season started. He would look like me on the court. He was huffing and puffing for air. He was not Anthony Davis. So when he gets in game shape, like at the end of this month, and he's actually, ready to go and heal his leg, then it's then it's going to be a problem for everybody.
I was thinking it was more the fucked up heel, the fucked up leg, but
Right.
it
The
could have
injury.
been not being in shape as well. As we know, we had that Draymond quote where he said he alluded to a player not being in shape, and then it's like, oh, who
And
did
we
he
thought it was AD, right?
Yep, everyone just kind of assumed it was AD. How do you foresee the second of the season actually playing out, man? What seed do you think we're gonna end up with?
I think they're going to actively try to get the one. So I think when you're going to see it like right away on Friday, like they're going to be trying to get the one now. They know the schedule. Having said that, like I did look at the schedule, so but like you said, things can change with the COVID protocols. It's tough, man. We got, like I said, we have a long East Coast road trip. We got some back to backs, but I do think they're going to try to get the one. I'll say since AD's not coming back until the end of March, I say the Lakers finish with the 2 seed, just because I think Utah will probably keep it up and get the one, which is okay. Like I'm okay with the 2 seed. Um, Hopefully, the 2 seed in the West is better than the 1 seed in the East, because obviously we want home court advantage in the finals. So, and I do think that'll happen. I think the 2 in the West is better than 1 in the East.
I'm thinking the 2 as well. Yeah,
I think they'll get the
I
2.
think the I think the
Yeah.
Jazz just hold on to. I think the Jazz just hold on to that 1 seed. I bet Phoenix stays in contention for that upper seed in the West. Though they just seem pretty motivated this year, coming off that win against us. Although we didn't have a lot of our good guys that game. Yeah, but still, I bet we finish with the 2 seed, and I think we're ending this shit with a championship, man. I still got a good feeling. I do think Rob has a move up his sleeve. I think we're gonna see some kind of move for a big man or a shooter. Lately. I'm starting to think a shooter might be good too, but I'm still leaning towards a big man. But I'm open to the idea of bringing another sniper. I just don't know who we kind of if we can get really good value of a sniper for what's available with the current waiver wire. But hey, we'll see, man. Last thing, Shams just announced before we started recording that LaMarcus Aldridge and the Spurs are splitting. What do you think about his fit on the Lakers potentially? You think there's anything there?
I mean, there's definitely, I think, something there. I did see what you just said, that Shams put out that they're, have agreed to part ways. I will say, I saw that Shams said they're looking to trade. I am not down for that.
I'm not trading shit for LaMarcus
No,
Aldridge.
not for LaMarcus Aldridge. Let me just put that out there. There's no way we're trading for him unless it's fucking Dudley. Um, I mean, I think LA, and that's the first time I'm going to use LA for LaMarcus Aldridge, but that is, I think, what he goes by. He, he still can play, but I don't, I thought, I think at this point, honestly, is Aldridge a better addition for this current Lakers than Damian Jones? Like, I don't know. Aldridge is a pretty bad defender right now. He's never was a good defender, even in Portland. Um, he definitely will space the floor for us because he's just he's a knockdown shooter. So I trust Rob Pelinka. You know, if it's if it's viable through a buyout, and he's the best option, I guess I'm okay with it. I trust Pelinka's call on that.
Yeah, I also think we still need to go for a defensive guy in the middle. Don't think we need Aldridge. I trust Palinka, and I still
Right.
have trust in Frank because of what you said, that Joker up his sleeve. We won't know until the moment happens that if he still has that. But I think I'm still feeling pretty good about the season. We have a new variable in the mix with the Brooklyn Nets having 3 superstars, man. I think if we match up with Philly in the finals, should we make it there? I think we got that. I think our experience pushes us over the top. We just need health, man. But who would you like to see in the finals? Like, who would you? I think I'd Brooklyn or Philly. That'd be good for me.
I'd probably, I mean, just because of the names, I'd probably say Brooklyn,
Yeah, I
but
want to beat Brooklyn.
I think it'd be pretty insane. Kevin Durant, Anthony Davis, LeBron, James Harden. But that's why you got to play. Like on paper, there is no excuse now for Brooklyn. You just got Blake in a buyout, Blake Griffin. There is no excuse. So I would be, but honestly, like don't sleep on a Sixers Lakers matchup. That would be really fun, man. I think a lot of people are just kind of penciling in because they want to see Brooklyn, LA, which I get. Nets Lakers would be crazy, but Sixers Lakers is a great basketball matchup, man.
I know it is. I'd really like either one of those. Got to focus on the games at hand and coming out of the West first. But I think that about wraps it up, man. You got any final words?
That's good for me, man. It's always a pleasure rapping with you. We're definitely gonna talk soon.
Always great having you on, man. Thanks everyone for listening. Take it easy, Martin.
All right, peace, man.